Hello everyone, welcome to ALTTPR League. This is Season 2. Welcome to another match in the playoffs. This is I Like Big Boots versus Kinda Rando Retired, Relkin versus Furaime. I am one of your comms in the booth today. My name is Hammerbro, and I am joined by the only ninja who actually makes his own clothing. Spyweaver, how are you doing today, man?
I'm doing wonderfully. I got everything I need. I'm ready for this. We are about to see one team fight for their tournament life while the other looks to put them down.
Yeah, we've got some fun settings here too, don't we? Something like a map compass shuffle. Ugh.
Oh yeah, we're starting off with a standard opening. Assured Sword. Compass Shuffle, and your goal tonight is defeating Ganon. Key Sanity Light, as it is often referred to.
Yeah, it's more like Key Sanity annoying. There's two parts of Key Sanity. One part makes it difficult, that's the key logic, and the other part makes it annoying, which is the map and compass shuffle. And we're just doing the annoying part today. So hopefully the seed will be nice to our runners, and it'll point them towards the crystals and not towards the pendants, because we're not going to know starting off where we're going to be heading towards. Hopefully we will have a friendly seed, a quick seed today. I'm looking for something competitive. What are you hoping on seeing today, man?
I'm just hoping we see a nice, fun race today. This is going to be something quite interesting with these two runners, both well-known throughout the community and both very accomplished. No matter what this seed throws at us, I'm sure we're going to have a good number of thrills, spills, and chills.
Yeah, Relkin making a reference here to what you had said earlier. It's go big or go home time. Last stand for I Like Big Boots.
Yeah, Big Boots are down 2-1. It's a best of 5 series. Relkin does need the win to move us to a game 5 between these two teams. If you can't pull it out, they unfortunately do not move on. Winner, however, of this series will move on to the conference semifinals against Clown Parade.
And that's going to be a heck of a matchup there too.
Definitely Clown Parade just finishing off Pug Trio 3-1. Now that's something you don't see every day. Starting off early there with the Bombos.
Yeah, so how about some Spider Sword Ice Palace? I'm sorry.
That's just not nice. Not nice at all.
I'm sorry.
Let the records show I was not the one that said it this time.
Guards dropping magic. That's not helpful for blowing a hole in the wall, but it's kind of nice to have, I guess.
Debatable. We really can't do too much right now. I guess we do have that Bombos medallion we can make use of, but not what they're more than likely looking for.
I mean, that'd be a heck of an overkill on the game's first mini boss coming up here.
You know, I've never really thought about it if that would be faster than the either pot and 4 slashes or 8 slashes to them. Interesting.
Almost assuredly not, with Bombos being as long as it is for the animation, but it'd be much more fun, that's for sure.
It'd be a little bit more explosive, I think.
I'm not touching that one. You're gonna have to do a little bit better than that, bud.
That one is a little too hot for you to touch or handle, or I guess that all just kind of blew up in my face right there.
All right, someone pull in the Cane of Samaria. Let's get this man out of here.
Buckland, we're only 2 minutes in and we're already going.
Buddy, that was you. I didn't say a darn thing this time. Speaking of which, though, we are making really good progress through the escape here. There's not too much to talk about other than the fact that our runners are looking for bombs. Bombs would be nice. But as we had a guard drop a full magic, It's going to be a little difficult to come across here, so we're hoping to find some probably with either the ropes or the rats upcoming. Kind of going to be stuck other than that, though.
I believe it would be mostly the rats we'll be looking at. I believe the ropes are in the same prize pack as the guards, usually.
That is correct. Good call.
So yeah, since those ropes do share that same prize pack as the guards, there's really no sense in sitting there wasting time killing them. Might see one or both of our runners kill a few rats on their way to the back just to see what we got going on with them.
Yeah, I'd imagine we would see that, if only because it's not really likely that you'll find something really silly like a glove back there or something that hides both of our progressive gloves, but if it happens, then our runners would be stuck doing the back of escape all over again to go get the items. So our runners tend to go after those back items if they at all can.
I mean, it always seems to be that there's some form of progression back there if you can't find bombs, but if you do find bombs, there's just pieces of hearts. Or is that just me?
I mean, I'm pretty sure that's just kind of randomizer in general, to be honest. Alright, so we are coming up on just over 4 minutes here, and we are already heading towards the dark portion, so our runner's still making really, really good time.
That's a heart. I believe it's a potential if we got the super pack.
We didn't with that second heart. I am fairly certain that that is the heart pack that the guards are normally a part of.
Unless that second heart was from pulling that bottle up, it very well could have been, but we shall see if they decide to kill more rats or not on the way back. That'll let us know right here. Yep, and Furaime going up into the top corner where a whole bunch of rats congregate, getting nothing but hearts. We're not going to be getting ourselves any bombs from this escape today.
So this is where we could get something that's insult to injury. How about we have a 3-pack of bombs in Sanctuary?
That would almost be kind of ironic.
See, you say ironic, but I'm stuck on funny.
Is there really a difference between the two?
Depends on your perspective, I guess.
And for those asking, it was Assured Sword start today. This is a standard mode, Assured Sword, map compass shuffle, and defeat Ganon as your goal.
Nothing in the back here but money and that Bombos medallion for our first little bit. And yeah, it's map compass shuffle for Furaime. You're gonna have to wait.
And I was going to wonder if anybody was going to do that there. Unfortunately, we're not going to know what the dungeons will be housing as a reward, whether it be a crystal or a pendant, until we either get the map of said dungeon or we defeat the boss. And talking about almost insult to injury, there's your bombs.
Yep, speaking of not knowing stuff, we're also not going to know if there's anything hiding on our lumberjack ledge today for now. A lot of runners do choose to wait until after they get the boots before checking this, because it does just take a little extra time. Both of our runners today deciding to go ahead with that route.
Yeah, and usually you'll see, if they're looking for an item or, have down to quite a low number of checks and they have the boots in tow, then you might go see a few of the runners go check out what's on that lumberjack ledge. But, like you said, until said point, a lot usually like to skip it, since without those boots, it doesn't matter if you beat Egg or not, you still can't get down there to the ledge.
Yep, that is a good point. Furaime took a couple extra seconds there to try and do another a tree pull, going for the tier 1 that time.
Oof.
Still didn't get any luck, and Relkin, nice Bombos, my friend.
Very, very explosive, but unfortunately I don't think that's going to open the wall.
Oh, that's what happens when you learn to read the first 4 letters of a 6-letter label. As we get a boomerang, a bow, a bug net. Do we have something else starting with B in here? How about Berna in the back?
A
Oh,
bread rupee?
Bread rupee. That's a wry sense of humor.
Well, at least we know they're going to be the breadwinners during this seed.
You can't use the same word in the pun twice. That's lazy.
Yeah.
And
We're
yeah,
only 8 minutes in.
Chat
Ooh.
saying, "Oh, hello, hookshot."
Well, starting with the hook shot, some bombs ironically behind the bombable wall. That one's always good for a laugh. 20 rupees, 20 more rupees, and some more bombs.
Alright, so we have an interesting start so far.
And speaking of interesting starts, it'll be interesting to see if getting that bow early on will push either of our runners over towards Eastern, even without that map in hand.
Yeah, that is kind of an interesting... Oh, hello, flute.
Well.
Alrighty then. So yeah, that's officially logical access up the mountain now. We don't even have to wait for a glove or a lamp.
And here we go. We got the good old just about nearly synced 9 minutes and 30-second flute activations from both of our runners.
Hey, Ocarina.
Oh boy.
Alrighty, so the only thing that makes this even prettier is if we get a bottle here in the back of Tavern to just knock out Sick Kid. Although with the flute, I guess it doesn't really matter. Oh, wow.
Man. Okay, those are some really, really early and nice silvers.
Yeah, no kidding. Wow. Alright, 10-minute silvers, anyone? Alright, so quick check of the race game. With the flute here, I imagine Furaime. Oh, Furaime's just going right in. And I didn't even see what that was.
I didn't get quite a good enough glance at it, but I would imagine it was a whole lot of a nothing for Relkin to have disappeared as fast as we did there, going right over to the dam to start the South Shore line of checks.
Yeah, that's true, but it could be something like 300 rupees. Nope, never mind. Because there's a handful of items that kind of stick in that tweener spot where...
Speaking of 300 rupees...
I've been consistently one location late today.
You can't win them all, I suppose.
Not with my routing now.
20 extra checks later.
Pretty much. Alright, so we are going towards Mini Moldorm Cave here, and hopefully we're going to have something useful here. If the Moldorm... Stop. No, stop. Please.
Going for some hookshot strats instead of tossing a bomb. At this point, I think tossing a few bombs might have been a little faster.
At this point, you might as well just use the Bombos medallion.
Hey, and there is a Master Sword in the back, a compass to Skull Woods with another couple of rupees, 50 more rupees, and 10 more arrows.
Okay, so other than the Master Sword, not a whole lot there. Flute out for Relkin. We'll see if we're going to go Ice Rod Cave, or Agana, or Mountain. Yeah. Ice Rod Cave, alrighty.
Yep, you got the flute this early on, you may as well. Fluting over to 8 saves you a couple screen transitions and makes it a lot nicer.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Those crabs are not being nice, and since we're only stuck on 3 hearts still, yeah, 2 hearts of damage is something you want to avoid if you at all can.
And all that just for 5 rupees. A blue rupee in the blue cave. Now we'll see where Relkin's going to go next.
Yep, and we do have a bunch of checks left, but at this point, if I'm either of our runners, I'm starting to think about the back of escape. Like, no, please just give me a glove. Please just give me a glove.
And here we go. We have our first divergence. Furaime looks like we're taking that bow over to the Eastern Palace area. We have 3 checks in the back of Sahasrah's hut, and then a number inside of Eastern Palace. And although it is not within technical logic, right now we do have a bow, and the lack of a lamp will not dissuade either of our runners. We very well can complete Eastern Palace.
Ooh, Relkin just barely succeeding in the dance of the cabbages.
Getting a good bit of information from Furaime. There is a green pendant in Thieves Town, and look at that, we found a glove and the mushroom as well in the back of Sahasrah's hut.
So at this point, going to go clear Eastern is not a bad call at all, because at this point you only know 1 dungeon, but you're only worried about, you're only 2 misses out of the 9 remaining. So you've got pretty good odds of clearing a crystal here.
Yep, the odds are kind of in your favor. You can get an early one here instead of going up the mountain and making those checks. But look over on Relkin's side, we got the Ether Medallion sitting on top of Spectacle Rock. That is locked behind our mirror today.
Interesting. I expected Relkin to go clear the east side of Death Mountain with that hookshot, but deciding not to.
Fluting out there, deciding to go take a look at Lake Hylia Island. Just 20 rupees. Looks like we're going to be heading up towards Eastern Palace area. Wonder if Relkin almost forgot about that hookshot this early.
That is possible, I guess. I wouldn't say it's likely, but I can't think of any reason why they wouldn't go grab the 8 chests over on Death Mountain since they were already over there. I don't know. Something to ask afterwards, to be sure.
Definitely. And speaking of which, while Furaime makes their way through Eastern Palace, we have found 2 items already. We found ourselves the cape and a shield. There's one more unique item, or one more non-dungeon item, I should say, potentially sitting in this area. We'll see what we do find.
Keep in mind, this is Map Compass Shuffle.
Yeah.
There's 5 items in here, bud.
I said potentially. And as I say that, we find another fetch quest in lieu of the hammer there.
So now, Relkin not going into Eastern out of Sahasrah's hut. We're going to get a clear of the back of escape here. That's not surprising. Just go ahead and get it out of the way.
Yep, and over here on Furaime's side, we have what I was talking about earlier. No lamp, no problem. Looks like we do have ourselves a vanilla big key today, and that looks to be where Furaime is heading.
Won't say no to the mail, but it wasn't exactly progression.
And if you go out of your way a little bit like that to get something or make those checks, you almost do hope it is progression. But you know, like you said, it's one of those on the way. May as well get the blue mail while I'm here, since both of our runners still on 3 hearts.
And speaking of which, we're going to get a turn-in of that mushroom. Hello, Fetch Quest.
Alright, so fetch quest number 1 today will be giving us just some bombs, nothing big. And that will be a hard reset to save that.
Yep, not a bad idea. We can use it for a lovely little glitch later on, provided that we have the Cane of Samaria. Furaime having difficulty with the real Eastern boss, which is that dark room pot.
Alright, here we go. Looks like relkin now making their way over to the eastern side of Death Mountain. So get us our Paradox Cave checks, as well as let us know what's on Floating Island, and then Spiral.
Yep, as we'd said before, 8 items in here, including knowledge of 1 more item on Floating Island. So this is by far the most dense check we have left.
And just like that, down goes an Armos Knights. Right there, that is first blood, 18 minutes and 26 seconds on in. And wouldn't you know it, it is a crystal for Furaime, and kinda Randall retired.
Also got a useless map. Thank you for telling us that Thieves Town is actually, in fact, Green Pendant. Speaking of green, how about a green goo and a moon pearl to go with it?
Those are definitely things you're not going to say no to. And there is our hammer sitting up on top of Desert Ledge.
Alright, so at this point we're looking for either the book or another set of gloves and our mirror. Alrighty then.
So we do know what we need on our end. 10 arrows sitting up on the floating island. That's going to be the last we see of that. It's just a matter or a question of what items are going to lead us to that hammer.
Aghanim.
Now, as you say that, wouldn't it be something if relkin finds the book over here in Spiral Cave?
Whew, that would be a situation that'd be much more funny for us.
Oh!
Close.
Close enough! Theirs are the Titan's mitts, so Dark World access sitting up on top of Death Mountain.
Yeah, so this is interesting. We don't have a whole lot more to check here. Where our mirror could be hiding. We do have a couple of out of location spots, out of logic spots, I should say. We also do have that shovel that we need to keep thinking about, as well as the stuff that relkin's handling here on Dark Death Mountain.
Yep, and with the hookshot, there's also Hookshot Cave. We still have Zora as well as Zora's Lead. There's still a number of checks before we have to worry too much about something here. A little bit more health out of Super Bunny, and 20 rupees out of the dig spot.
The nice thing here is that even though Zora might very well be the answer, our runners do have Zora money. So that is nice at the very least. Meanwhile, Furaime not in as nice of a position to do a save scum here, so might not be able to easily get that mushroom back. I don't know when the last time he did a save and quit was.
It has been a while, and it actually looks like Hookshot Cave today, just 95 rupees hiding out in there.
That's not too far from vanilla, if we're being honest here.
Ooh boy, Turtle Rock Ether today. And do remember that Ether Medallion is sitting on top of Spectacle Rock, so we will need that mirror at some point if we want to get inside of Turtle Rock. Do keep in mind we still don't know what the boss is hiding, as far as a crystal or a pendant, however.
That is fair. Looks like we're gonna get Rokin's gonna see that hammer and be like, "Why? Why did you have to be there?" And then we're probably gonna get a Meyer Shed check here.
Meyer Shed, Meyer Medallion, and Checkerboard would make the logical sense here. Which the medallion is Bombos. We can get in there today.
If we can get the mirror out of the shed, then yeah, we can do Bombos, or we can do a Checkerboard Cave. But until then, we're going to be just staring at it from the wrong side of the divide.
close, but no cigar.
Just an interesting thought here. Relkin could have jumped into Meyer right there. I'm not saying that would have been a good call by any stretch. I'm just saying it was a possibility.
Yeah, we can enter. We can check a number of chests. Just can't complete it without a Samaria in hand. And sick kid giving us a little bit of his heart today. No wonder he's holed up in his bed this evening.
Yeah, the surgery went well, but the doctors couldn't quite find out where to put the last piece, I guess.
It's one of those situations where you have pieces left over and you just kind of look at it like, well, as long as it doesn't break, these are fine.
Alright, so here we go into the Dark World. Into the official Dark World, I should say. We've gotten a couple of Dark World adjacent areas or little pockets, but we are heading towards Skull Woods right now, so let the fun begin. Alright, so this is one of those weird dungeons with map, compass, shuffle. Skull Woods is sitting on 4 items. It's kind of just an odd number.
Definitely, given how seemingly disjointed the dungeon can feel as well, given that it's essentially in 2, maybe 3, depending on how you look at it, different parts here.
So honestly, you missed an opportunity there. I was expecting you to say 4 is an even number, Hammer. Because I caught it after I said it, but by then it was too late.
Those ones are too easy. I figured I'd let one slide.
Alright, cool. I'll take it. Meanwhile, big key sitting there in that chest. We're probably going to be heading right back to the front portion.
As Furaime grabs their Titan's mitts out of Spiral Cave, I would imagine we'll be seeing them head into Dark Death Mountain here now very shortly.
Yep, probably going to be doing the same checks that Relkin already has, since Furaime took a bit of a detour in Eastern, taking out the first crystal.
Furaime sitting over here with 4 hearts and blue mail in the Dark World. It's almost like we started here on an inverted seed with how little hearts we have so far. Ooh, there's the boots hiding out in the pinball room.
Okay, time to go fast. Oh, never mind. Relkin gonna go ahead and take a quick Uber.
Gotta hand it to him. That was some nice transportation there.
Actually, I feel like it would be Lyft rather than Uber. I'm just like, I'm 30 seconds behind on the puns today, guys. I'm sorry.
I think you might need to refresh. Got a little bit of buffering there.
Yeah, I'm about to Furaime off.
Jesus. C-shaped house just got some bombs for us today. It'll be interesting to see what Relkin decides to do with Thieves Town here. Because remember, Furaime was the only one that went over to the eastern area, I believe. Actually, never mind. They did not. They both went over there. I didn't check or didn't catch whether or not Relkin actually talked to Sahasra, though.
Yeah, I didn't either. I know that Relkin grabbed the items. I would presume that they talked to Sahasrara, especially for map compass shuffle. But again, I might be wrong. Just kind of make an assumption. It's Pendant Thieves Town's always terrifying because the first 4 are really quick to get to, and then the last 4 are not. And especially with map compass shuffle, there are 6 items in there. So I don't know. We're probably gonna at least see the front 4 here. Not sure what we're going to see after that.
You could also make the argument, though, that it is also 7, given the green pendant.
And since we're starting off with that small key, there's one item we're not going to be able to get, so just go ahead and knock it right back down to 6.
May as well, but we do get a whole horde of rupees there. That's another 300 spot.
Interesting. Normally I don't see that rounded that way. Cool.
Definitely an interesting way of routing that. It does save you a couple screen transitions there.
Yeah, I feel like it's definitely faster with the boots. Furaime, meanwhile, speaking of rupees... Oh, hello.
That is a Cane of Samaria in the Vanilla Big Key location in Thieves Town for Relkin.
And that is a male that is logic broken for Furaime. We got 2 more items up here. Zora is in logic. The ledge is not. So we'll see if we can find anything good.
Yeah, I'll scratch one of those off. Not going to be really needing that compass today. And Relkin in the middle of our dig game, anywhere between 1 and 30 strikes of the earth for our reward of this evening. Meanwhile, Furaime paying a whole lot of money for a whole lot of nothing there. 10 arrows out of Zora and a piece of heart in the dig game for Relkin.
Yep, 2 checks. Neither of them ended out too well for us. Looks like we might very well get a portion of the Smith chain at the very least. We're not going to be able to do the hammer pegs here. But we will be able to take our favorite bullfrog on a nice world tour.
This is always the point where in my mind I just start singing.
Alright, but seriously, where is that mirror?
Where is that anything at this point?
Well, yeah, to be sure. But the mirror locks the hammer, which would give us quite a bit more access to stuff, as well as the pod area specifically, which would be nice. We can break there, I'm sure. Both our runners probably know how to do that in some various way. But logically, we're going to need that mirror from somewhere.
It would have definitely been interesting if Hype Cave would have had the flippers there. It'd still be even more interesting if our Smith chain part of it there gives us the flippers or something. Because then we have a logical access to Master Sword Bombos Ice Palace.
Yeah, that is a fair point. It's especially not fun because without that mirror, we're not going to be able to complete it, even if we can get in there. So our runners are probably both putting that in the please don't make me do this without the hammer.
Well, Dwarven Bankers today. It's 20 rupees for escorting the lost brother back from the Dark World.
Yep, and speaking of that Smith chain, we are leaving the purple chest for now. I don't blame Relkin. It's a terrible check without the mirror, but oof.
All right, making the detour over to King's Tomb. And that is just a compass, another nice item number tracker, a checks tracker within the dungeon, but not really what we want or what we're looking for at this point.
I mean, at this point, I think we need a mode specifically that makes compasses really useful.
I really don't know what use you could assign the compass, though.
All right, so boots checks out of the way. Hey, why don't we go check that lumberjack ledge real quick?
Yes, sir. This is what I was talking about earlier. No sense in checking this until you get the boots, because you do need the boots to knock the top off of that tree there once they get done sawing it away. This might give us a clue of what we need to do, and it looked like it was a map today.
Yep, just a burrito on the ledge, so not going to be doing Aghanim for that. Alrighty, Relkin, so are you going to complete Thieves Town, or are you going to go grab that purple chest?
So we're looking at green pendant for our item, or is it going to be pyramid ledge?
I mean, I wouldn't sell it too short yet. We still have pyramid. We still have pyramid, for goodness gracious. You got me doing it now. We still have purple chest. We still have a bunch of items in Thieves Town. Let's not jump the gun too early here.
I mean, I'm just getting ahead of the game here, just a little bit.
Isn't purple chest bad enough? Do you have to make it worse?
I mean, why not? We're here in the playoffs. Let's have a little bit of fun with it.
No, see, I want to see progression in Mire. Give me progression in, like, blue pendant Mire.
And you thought pyramid ledge was bad? Come on, man.
Hey, at least you have access to Mire right now. You can go do it right now. There's nothing stopping you from doing Mire right at this very moment.
You could argue there's really nothing stopping you from pyramid ledge as well.
I mean, technically, until we find that lamp, Aghanim's out of logic.
Yeah. I was more or less referring to a certain jump, though, that we can do with some bombs at a certain location to get over there.
Sure, but at this point, with as few checks as we have left, I feel like, at least personally, I'd rather go for the stuff that I know is in logic than the stuff that might not end up being.
Oh, but I mean, to your Meyer point, as I just got a reminder from Furaime's side, we can complete it.
Not necessarily. We still don't have a fire source.
Not logically, I guess.
Well, no, because if the big key's in one of those two chests, we just we can't. Wait. Oh, Relkin's setting up a water walk. Interesting. I've never seen it set up over here. That works though.
Quit trying to bury the big key on him, too. Come on, man.
I wasn't trying to bury it. I'm just saying.
And also going to store that water walk here for Relkin's side. So we're going to do a fake flipper with a stored water walk.
Yep, that will either be used to get out of Hobo more quickly, or it will be used to go ahead and do Zora Ledge if there's something required over there, which obviously we know there's not, but Relkin does not know that.
So anyone gonna ask the question as to why our hobo is holding onto a map for Turtle Rock?
I mean, it had to wash up somewhere, didn't it?
Yeah, but it would have been nice maybe if you gave it to us in a bottle.
That would be vanilla.
Exactly. I guess you still do see the bottle graphic when he holds it up right away, so.
Yep, they have not made a bunch of distorted graphics before you actually pick up the item to match it there. So you just get the bottle for a little bit, and then whatever the actual item is for the rest of it. We are going to get 5-6 crystals checks. Skullwoods and Ice Palace. That's kind of fun.
Definitely an interesting set of circumstances there.
Well, it does mean that your that your mirror cannot be sitting on the fat fairy. We could still have it on the ledge for the pyramid.
Relkin getting their very expensive 10 arrows from Zora today.
So I didn't realize the first time around that the map that was sitting in Hype Cave was in fact one of the most useful ones. Hello, Hyrule Castle.
Be kind of interesting to see if there would be something that could be done to put like a crystal somewhere in Hyrule Castle. That would almost be fun.
That'd be really quick, though. And you have a 3-minute first crystal of the game.
It would still be fun.
Alright, Relkin is making the plays. Here we go.
Making the plays and getting us a little bit of roast chicken today. We're going to see what's inside of Misery Mire.
Alright, so there are going to be 2 checks that are going to be inaccessible unless we find a fire source in here, and those 2 checks are going to be on the far left-hand side. So, we will see what we get. That was very nicely done without a fire rod.
Just exactly what I was thinking. That was quite impressive. A nice use of Samaria there.
Honestly, the only downside to that strat is that the Samaria block itself caused a little bit of lag with all the enemies and sprites on screen.
Yeah, but the time saved, I'd argue, being able to one cycle that makes up for that by far.
Oh yeah, most definitely. There's no argument there. Furaime, meanwhile, still not going to be able to see what that lumberjack ledge is, as the frog is not having it. All right, early big key there, because of course it is, because we're looking for items, not for a dungeon clear. So don't have to worry about the big key being hidden in a firelock location.
Means it'll be one of those interesting scenarios. And to see when and or where we do find a fire source and how much those 2 chests left over there on that left side will weigh on our runner's mind, depending on how this seed ends up divulging there.
Alright, so Meyer is confirmed a pendant, and I believe I saw the other pendant at Swamp. That was a really quick check, but I'm pretty sure our other pendants are just in that corner.
Yep, I saw the Meyer one. I saw that Skull Woods was a 5-6, but that's all I got out of it, as quick as that one was. Oof. Oof, I think I might have done the jinx.
Flipper flopper, and that is the last logical check for Meyer. We're probably... Ooh, so Relkin does not have knowledge of this, so it's going to go clear Vitreous. I don't know if Furaime is going to do the same thing upon grabbing those flippers.
But as I was kind of alluding to earlier, those flippers mean hello logical access into Ice Palace.
The flippers also mean hello logical access into the pod area as well, so... But yeah, they don't really give you a whole lot that you want to deal with without having the hammer. As that is a really beautiful dark room by Relkin. That room is probably the most difficult one in Meyer, if you're asking my opinion. It's really difficult to put that block where it needs to be.
Not one of the easy ones, that's for sure. It's very, very, very finicky with being able to hit that block on top of that switch.
I just would like to point out real quick, at this given point, Relkin still has not cleared Eastern, so just kind of making the play of, if there's something in Eastern, oh well.
Yep, and as far as we were able to see, Eastern just gave us a crystal and a cape today.
Alright, so this is potentially a point of divergence here. Furaime is going to grab his flippers and grab the shield here, I believe. And then, are we going to get a save and quit? Nope. Furaime knows that it's a pendant. Was thinking about it for a second there. Yep, we're going to go clear.
Interesting decision, given you do know that it is a pendant with your map check and knowledge prior, but I mean, if there's something there, you know, you can get down there fairly simply. You got the silver arrows, so you're going to make quick work of the boss fight. Well, you can't really fault them for the decision.
That is fair. Those silver arrows do make this pretty quick, at least in terms of the boss fight. You still got to stroll through the dark rooms, but Furaime might as well have had a lamp. Holy cow.
Pretty much. And here we see Relkin going back into the Dark World. I would almost bet we might see him use those flippers, go right over to Pod. Or is he going to go into Thieves Town? Going to make a quick liar out of me and going right into Thieves Town.
Yeah, here we go. So that's going to be 2 pendants for Relkin here. Also, I'd like to point out that in spite of the map compass shuffle that has our dungeon music shuffled, both pendants that we've walked into so far have pendant music.
Just kind of an interesting thing to keep in mind as well. I mean, we've had the ability, I guess you could say, to clear 2 pendants. One of them only so far being in logic, since we're still lacking a fire source. But if we do get that mirror, that means we technically have another pendant within logic.
That's fair, but with the mirror, we'll also have the hammer, which would put Pod into logic and Hera into logic, and just a fire source away from Desert being into logic at that point. So I would be surprised to see our runners do anything other than just crystal fly through at that point.
And the way this is ending up being or feeling like so far, it's going to be one of those where we find the mirror, then everything is just going to start toppling from there, it seems.
Yeah, that's pretty much all we need is the mirror and our 2 rods for Turtle Rock, since we know where the hammer is.
Yeah, but we do know where that ether medallion is as well. We just need the mirror for that one too.
That's a good point.
Speaking of rods, there's a fire rod.
Okay, so this is where things get fun. We can go turn around and deal with Skull Woods now, if we're so inclined. At this point, Relkin at the very least is going to be hoping to find the ice rod before the mirror, because if you find the ice rod, then you know that you just need the mirror to go grab your hammer, and then you're done.
Yeah, but keep in mind, even though Relkin did just find ourselves our first fire source of the evening, that still does not put Misery Mire within logic. Misery Mire is hard lamp locked.
Yep, Furaime doing what you had expected Relkin to do here. We're going to be heading straight towards the flippers. We're going to see what that gives us today. I imagine we're probably going to get a catfish first. And then heading down towards our favorite pyramid ledge.
That'd be the thing. Do you start up here with the catfish since you're already kind of halfway there and then loop your way back down, check the ledge to go into pod, or what do you do? Relkin, though, however, is going to have the advantage of being able to go ahead, turn the green pendant in, do Eastern, and then after clearing that, hop down to the warp spot down there if we are still lacking the mirror, and then go into pod from there.
If we're still lacking the mirror, then we're going to be lacking that hammer, so he is not going to be able to do that.
Unless we find the book.
That is fair.
In before book is sitting here on Mothula.
Ew, that'd be an interesting spot for it.
Alright, Relkin taking that fire rod, going right to the back of Skull Woods. We're seeing a Mothula fight very, very shortly here.
Yep, and Mothula is one of those bosses that can either go very quickly or take a little more time based upon what you have and what the moth decides to do and all that.
Hey, 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 look at that. That's sitting on the ledge.
You're a jerk.
That is a mirror sitting right there on Pyramid Ledge for Furaime.
Alright, so it is time to let this seed go into what a lot of rando seeds enjoy going into. Where is the ice rod?
And right here, right away, instantly, Furaime is going to go grab himself that hammer.
Oh, Relkin's going to want to be careful here, regardless of your mail. Never mind.
I ain't too worried. And here we go, Furaime going to dip into the front of Desert Palace. We do have the boots, so if there's something sitting on the torch, we'll be able to get that as well. But unfortunately, does not have the fire rod, so won't be able to complete Desert Palace.
Unless there's a lamp in here.
Oh, Jesus. Alright, well, that was a Mothula fight for Relkin. That is Relkin's first crystal, evening us up 1 crystal to 1 crystal. And taking that flute trip over to the Eastern Palace area, I would imagine this would be a green pendant turn in, and then an Eastern Palace clear like I was talking about. We do know there will not be a mirror found over here, so unfortunately we'll not be able to go down to the 5 flute spot and loop in pod. And just 50 green rupees for the green pendant today. The big note, though, to keep in mind from that play of Relkin is the fire rod that we did find hiding out in Thieves Town.
Yep, meanwhile, desert coming up empty for Furaime. So we are going to forego that for now and probably check a checkerboard cave real quick.
Lift up the rock, head down the stairs. Checkerboard today has for us good old batch of lag. We're just going to leave that sit there.
Oh man, that cape in the first chest of Eastern was so much more of a troll for Furaime than it was for Relkin.
It's nothing but an afterthought for Relkin at this point. For Furaime, it had gotten you thinking about something else. But right now, both of our runners are kind of on 2 different divergent paths. Furaime ended up finding our mirror that was sitting on Pyramid Ledge, went and grabbed the hammer that was on the Desert Ledge. Meanwhile, Relkin has the advantage of the fire rod that was hiding out in the back of Thieves Town. If you ask me, I believe Relkin has a better chance of making the opposite play before Furaime does at this point.
Oh yeah, very much so. Mainly because Relkin's gonna run out of spots before Furaime will. And honestly, with those flippers there, it's kind of a big old flashing neon sign. Hey, have you considered doing the east side of the Dark World yet?
Agreed. With those flippers getting us mirror access for that hammer access, that gets us our ether medallion. That'll get us into Ice Palace, and with that hammer, we can also finish Ice Palace.
Yep.
And that is 2, 5, 6 crystals as well to keep in mind there.
That's a good point. Pretty much everything opening up for us, which is, on one hand, kind of a good thing, on the other hand, kind of a bad thing, because we're still looking for that ice rod, which can be anywhere but on Trinex.
Precisely. In the absolute worst place, sometimes that ice rod could be sitting at would either be at the end of Laser Bridge or in Mimic Cave. Because, you don't usually like going into Turtle Rock without all of your items to complete it.
Honestly, at this point, with this given seed, I feel like the ice rod being in Mire would be infinitely worse, because like you're looking at ice rod on Laser Bridge is a meme. It's its quote unquote vanilla location, and even though it's not nearly that frequent, it's frequent enough that runners are always thinking about it. I feel like our runners would be much more likely, I should say specifically Relkin with the Fire Rod, would be much more likely to go into Turtle Rock long before he heads back into Mire.
Yeah, and Furaime showing us off another more recently approved set of glitches there.
Yep, the Samaria Stairwalk.
Quickly follows that up with a hammer jump and is going on into the dark maze for another 2 items, or 2 checks, I should more accurately state. First of which being yet another piece of heart.
At this point, there's also another potential point of divergence here. One of our runners has a mushroom and a cane of Samaria, and the other one does not.
That is correct, but the one that saved the mushroom needs to go to that pyramid ledge. Ooh boy. Ooh boy, you hate to see this one at this point here from Relkin.
Ooh. Oh, that's not. I mean, you could find the ice rod in here, and I guess it wouldn't be terrible, but oof.
I mean, it's not bad by any stretch of the imagination. We just know this seed, it's not right, since you can already access the mirror and the hammer in full, clear this in one sitting instead of being able to double dip it.
I mean, I would argue that catfish to pyramid ledge to pod, or vice versa if you so desire, is...
Ooh.
Oh boy.
That is dirty.
So logically, Relkin's in the right place, because hello, lamp.
Yep.
Relkin, don't you have to hit the switch, bud?
A little trouble with Icebreaker, but finally getting it. Get rewarded the big key for their troubles. Relkin moves on.
Oh, right, I just remembered that we don't have the hammer, so we don't have to worry about that, because there's a couple chests in here we can't get.
Yep, Relkin still does not have that hammer. Needs to go grab that mirror that is sitting on Pyramid Ledge to go get that hammer on Desert Ledge. And what are we doing? We are going to save and quit on out of here.
Yeah, without the hammer, Relkin could not grab a key. Oh boy, it looks like we're going back in.
Maybe not had a second change of mind. This might be what I was talking about earlier. We're going to go over here, head on in, and head on over towards the pod area. This could be the play that Relkin needs to make here. Meanwhile, over on Furaime's side, those silver arrows making quick work of the Helmasaur King. Down it goes, rewarded with bombs for our troubles, as well as the second crystal for Furaime, and kinda Rando retired at 58 minutes in. That evens us up 2 crystals to 2 crystals.
Yep, but at this point, Relkin is going to be grabbing their mirror shortly. The problem here is that Fire Rod for Furaime.
Yep, the big question here will be whether or not Furaime finds that Fire Rod, or how soon Furaime does, given where it is sitting at the back of Thieves Town. The longer it takes for Furaime to head back that way, the better off it looks for Relkin, especially finally being on the right track here and just a moment's notice away from getting that mirror, picking up half magic too from the catfish. And look at this, Furaime now heading on into Ice Palace, going with the Bombos route.
Yep, Furaime having that hammer, though, will be able to actually clear it. It's going to be a bit of a long clear, because, well, Bombos is slow, but we still do have the Cane of Samaria, so it's not nearly as long as it could be otherwise. Very nicely done with bombs and pen gators right there.
All right, here we go. Relkin moments away from grabbing their mirror. That looks like that puts us just an ice rod away from go mode, because we do have knowledge of that hammer sitting on Desert Ledge, and we do have knowledge of Ether sitting on top of Spectacle Rock. We can now access both of those with our mirror.
You actually brought up another wonderful reason to head up the mountain, though. Because Hera has not been completed yet either, so that's just another couple of checks we can knock out of the way that could contain our Ice Rod.
Yeah, but I almost bet we see that at the very last decision here, especially with a completable desert on Relkin's side, and a completable pod, and now a completable ice. That would essentially leave us down to Hera and TR. So if luck is on your side, you could just make one last trip up the mountain here.
Oh, yeah, I'm not... Oh, never mind, it's right there. Alrighty, Ice Rod and Ice Palace.
Well then. We're used to seeing a rod in Ice Palace, it's just not that one. We know where all the items are now, ladies and gentlemen.
Yep, and unfortunately for Furaime, the rod that he's looking for is hidden in a pendant.
At the very least, it is a Thieves Town, so it could be worse. It's not as bad as it could be.
Nice bomb jump.
Another thing to keep in mind here as well, Relkin will more than likely be heading either into Pod or Ice Palace after this, and on the way will pick up that Ice Rod. So there's no more having to go out of the way for Relkin. So things could fall very nicely here.
Yeah, most definitely. This could end up being a very, very pleasant second half of the seed for Relkin here, presuming that they do go ahead and hop back into Ice Palace sooner rather than later.
Yep, and if Relkin hops on into Ice before going into Pod, which probably not going to be what we see happen, but if they do, that'll just make Pod that much faster once they find their big key.
Yeah, because that big key is relatively early.
As we think about that, Relkin making quick work of Lanmos, taking him down here for crystal number 3, giving him the 3-2 advantage, if only momentarily, as Furaime drops into Cold Stare.
Yep, a little bit less well prepared for this fight as compared to Relkin, though, because unfortunately silvers don't work on our puffballs.
But the hammer most certainly does.
But yeah, if you can manage it, this is ridiculous.
Gotta love good old 1990s hitboxes. Furaime making nice work of Hammer Cold Stare. And down those 3 puffs go. That is crystal number 3 for Furaime. Even us back up 3-3.
You know, with a really late hammer, there are a couple of spots that are just really ugly to get back to, and the seed didn't make us go back. So, GG's the seed. It was much kinder than it could have been otherwise.
Ooh. I did not anticipate this. I thought we might have been seeing Relkin go to Pod before going into Ice, but looks like Relkin's going right back into Ice.
Yeah, this routing is going to be as ideal as it could be, since we do know that the ice rod is sitting right in here on the chest that Relkin had to skip over, ironically enough, for not having the hammer.
This is what you call a big brain play for this seed, of course. Ladies and gentlemen, Relkin just moments away from finding that ice rod, which then essentially put them into go mode, since, as I've been saying, we do know that Ether sitting on top of Spectacle Rock. And as we think about it too, I am going to straight up level with you. I did not anticipate seeing Relkin go into Ice Palace before going into Pod, just based on the number of sheer checks.
Yeah, that's a good point, and I think normally I would full on agree with you, but with Icebreaker being what it is, you can full clear Ice Palace pretty friggin' fast now. It's not like it used to be, where even with the bomb jump you kind of have to run around a bit. You can definitely clear the chests as quickly as is manageable, with the exception of Ice-T, which there's no fun way to do that, honestly. But I'm not too surprised. And there we go.
So that right there is what I'd call, at 1 hour and 6 minutes in, essentially what you're going to consider a go mode here for Relkin. Like I've been saying, we do know where that Ether Medallion is. You can consider a no mode, a go mode. Doesn't really make a difference. Relkin knows where every single item is and what they need to do to finish this seed off.
Furaime a little late on those last 2 silvers, still managed to recover and get one of them on the first cycle here, and cleaned up the last one. So early 2 cycles, still not a bad fight at all.
Definitely good execution there on Furaime's side. That gets Furaime and kind of Randall retired their 4th crystal of the seed. And as I say that, we see Relkin dropping in for their Cold Stare fight and their upcoming 4th crystal as well. And kind of going back to your point about the icebreaker, kind of seeing it referred to by quite a few people as essentially fixing Ice Palace.
I mean, yeah, that's pretty accurate. Ice Palace is just... I mean, so people argue that dead rocks are the worst thing in the game, and I'm not going to argue that, but Ice Palace, as a general rule, is pretty darn close.
And then Icebreaker came along. Relkin making quick work of that Cold Stare fight with their half magic, their fire rod. A few quick shots, and there we go. Where's Furaime going? We found the book somewhere. I guess I must have missed that one.
Yeah, it's okay. I whiffed on that one too. No idea where that was.
My guess would be somewhere in Ice Palace, because Relkin is still missing the book, but after getting that Ice Rod, Relkin just went straight up and go moded the rest of the dungeon. So that would be my best guess at this point. Furaime, however, jumping into Tower of Hera.
Yep, and with our routing being what it is at this point, we are almost definitely going to get a Death Mountain High 5 at some point.
Potentially. It could be one of those situations where you see Relkin hopping into Turtle Rock before doing Tower of Hera, finishing Turtle Rock, mirroring, doing Hera, hopping back in the mirror, and going right into Ganon's Tower.
Yeah, but Furaime is going to be hopping into GT or into Turtle Rock as well, at least for a moment. Because you're already up here, and that fire rod could be there. I feel like if you're making the play, then you're hoping it's either in Hera or in Turtle Rock. End of story.
Definitely. I'll have to admit as well, that is the first time I've seen the super speed there used for Hera potting. Nice execution on that one by Furaime.
The only saving grace here for Furaime is that Turtle Rock might very well kick him out fairly early without that fire rod.
That would be almost the best thing we could hope for, especially if that is the next destination. You would almost hope not, but beings are already up on the mountain and it's a highly likely possibility.
Yeah, I feel like at this point, he's either going to just jump down into Spike Cave here or save Spike Cave for after Turtle Rock.
Looks like the play might be right here as Relkin grabs their big key. Couldn't really be at a better location for you. And right to the back we instantly go. How appropriate that that piece of heart fills up a heart container for you after walking through all them spikes.
Huh, your health looks a little low. Let me help you out.
Only for you to throw it right back in its face, save and quit, and those hearts don't fill up anyways. Come on, man.
Alright, so we are ignoring Turtle Rock, which is interesting. Okay. Uh-oh.
This could make things very, very interesting here.
Furaime, it's not on ped, bud.
He's at least in the right location. We do need to be in this area. We just need to take the portal to the Dark World and go into Thieves Town.
Yeah, that's not a place people want to go.
Getting the news, it is just a full heart container on the ped today. And as that's happening on Furaime's side, pulling out the flute, gonna be looking like we're leaving here back to Link's house. Relkin, meanwhile, on Helmasaur King, knocking off that shield on Helmasaur King's face, pulling out the silver arrows. There we go. Down goes the king of all Helmasaurs. That will be Crystal number 5 for Relkin.
Meanwhile, we're going to get a check of the Bombos tablet over here on Furaime's side, and then probably, unfortunately, a dip of Swamp.
We're going over to 45 first, it looks like.
Yep. I mean, you might as well go a little farther and take out Hammer Pegs then.
Ten arrows sitting over there for Furaime. Relkin now going up the mountain. This is going to be their second and final climb. We are just moments away from grabbing that Ether Medallion and being officially in the go mode.
Yep, and for all this seed hemmed and hawed in the very beginning, we were able to complete it fairly quickly after on, so everything's pretty straightforward.
I mean, I kind of alluded to it for most of the seed, what we were kind of going on for. Once we found that mirror that was sitting on Pyramid Ledge, things are just going to fall from there, and fall they have. Relkin starting off by going right on into Tower of Hera. Going to be doing the super speed clip into the pot here, using some pause buffering, and gets it on the first shot. Not even going to bother with finding a big key because, hey, you can do Hera pot, you don't need it. Let's go.
Yeah, that was ridiculously clean. I'm just going to go ahead and throw that one out there.
Hey, have you ever wanted to clear a crystal dungeon in 2 minutes flat? Because that is pretty much what we are just about to see here on Relkin's side. Down goes Moldorm. That is crystal number 6, and we're a short dash away from Turtle Rock and getting our 7th crystal. And unfortunately for Furaime, we're going on into Swamp Palace.
If you don't include the climb up the mountain for Relkin, it was probably closer to about a minute and a half.
Probably. That was ridiculously fast and well executed.
Now we just need to find something that allows us to do the same thing for Turtle Rock.
I mean, if you play a different glitches mode, there are things.
Well, sure, but if you play inverted mode, there are things too.
Alright, as a quick recap here, this is Game 4 between I Like Big Boots and Kinda Rando Retired. This best of 5 series, Kinda Rando Retired, as you can see, is up 2 games to 1. Relkin putting it all on the line to keep his team fighting for their tournament survival in this division finals game. And it looks like Relkin is doing everything that needs to be done. At this point, it looks like we're holding quite a commanding lead heading into their final crystal dungeon of the evening. Furaime, in the meanwhile, however, still needs to make their way back to the back of Thieves Town, where our Fire Rod is hiding out this evening.
Yep, that is the story of the sea today, ladies and gentlemen. Would you like the Fire Rod? Check the back of Green Pendant Thieves Town.
A little bit early with laying that block down from him, meanwhile, giving us a little glance at the diver down glitch here. Another way of making Swamp Palace work out a lot nicer. You grab those 2 chests without having to backtrack on your way to the back. And here we go.
Yep, diver down along with Icebreaker and the pod stair climbing glitch being part of the So Much Fun pack.
Meanwhile, finding the other most useful map that you could potentially find in any sort of map compass shuffle mode, the map for Ganon's Tower.
Broken's having difficulty with his Cane of Samara. He might have to take it into the shop and get it looked at.
How long is the warranty usually good for on those things?
I don't know, I tried to look at it, but the information was blocked.
Oh my. Just making me see red with that one.
Furaime, are you kidding me? That was ridiculous.
Pulling out those silvers, making a quick work of a one cycle fight there on Argus, getting a piece of heart and another pendant for their troubles. Yeah, we got ourselves a pendant, but unfortunately it was the wrong pendant. One can hope at this point Furaime doesn't decide to go check the left side of Swamp and decides to keep going for the next dungeon. No, we're heading back in, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's not a bad play, since you've already kind of committed to it being in Swamp, so clearing the left side isn't a bad play logically at this point, because if it's not here, you've probably lost anyways, unless your opponent did the same thing. But unfortunately, it's not here, so this is just extra waste of time.
Yeah, but this is showing off the true nature of Rando as well. Sometimes it just comes down to whether or not you made the right pendant dungeon guess.
Oh, nice fairy for Relkin there. Alright, so with everything being what it is here for the small key layout, we don't even have to see the laser bridge at all. Although, we might see it anyways. Nope, there was a thought. There was a thought, maybe for that tempered sword, but Relkin deciding to pass it up.
Yep, odds on we could still have ourselves one more sword sitting up inside of Ganon's Tower with the multitude of checks we have there. We haven't found another sword yet this evening. To keep in mind, if we don't find that temper, we will need to use Master Sword spins instead of slashes.
I mean, at least we got those silvers 10 minutes in.
Mm-hmm. The silvers will definitely make up for that, no question asked.
I don't know if make up for it is the right phrasing. I think I'd rather do tempered silverless over Master Sword silvers any day, but it helps. Oh no, Furaime's going into mire.
Going back for those two fire-locked chests on the left side of Misery Mire here. As Relkin taking out Trinex, living on the edge there with 2 hearts remaining, but no problem whatsoever getting rewarded with, ironically, a full heart container for your troubles and crystal number 7. You know what that means.
It's time to take over the world. Huh. Okay, maybe
yes, but I guess we don't have a working bot this evening. Anyway, see those numbers flying up in chat. Get your guesses in there. 1 through 22, 22 different places that big key could be hiding in Ganon's Tower. We'll be going off when Relkin gets there. Hey, there it is, there it is. It's just a little late on the poll today. What are you going with this evening, Hammer?
Let's see. Sword about... Oh, there's a sword. Sword
Wow.
about power and I'd laugh so hard if the second one were right here. I'll tell you what, though. We're at a decent time. Let's go ahead and make this a decently good seed. I'm going to say 8. How about you?
I usually go for 14. Well, that's a handy location for the powder. If you're going to get it, may as well get it on your way up. First 2 checks out of the way. No big key yet. Meanwhile, cutscene chest over on Furaime's side. For our troubles today, we are rewarded with the single arrow. Oh boy.
Alright, so that is bacon on a skewer, I believe.
And we are 6 checks in on Relkin's side. No big key yet. I don't know, but for some odd reason, I really find that hilarious that the single arrow was hiding behind our cutscene chest today.
You know, it's one of those things that you normally run into just in the middle of playing the game, and as you get later and later into the seed, finding it just gets funnier, at least in my opinion. You know, like if you find it in the validation chest, it's just hilarious.
It becomes one of those things where you get less frustrated, more so you just kind of you just shake your head at the ridiculousness of it at that point.
All right, so here comes hammer pegs. Furaime also has Graveyard Ledge, and obviously still the back of Thieves Town. Nice Quake medallion.
You can really shake things up in this seed now.
You're grounded.
Oh no, that was kind of well, screw it, I'll say that was a little shaky of you there.
Look, you can't make no puns about the ground medallion, okay? Puns are a no-fly zone.
What are we at? 10 now, I believe? 11. We've done 11.
Yeah, this will be 12 coming up.
Yep. Wrong with the hook shot there. There we go. Meanwhile, I think Furaime only has the back of Thieves Town left here. Gotta be getting there soon. Check number 12 for Relkin is a small key. We're heading off to the aptly named Rando room, as you only see this room in Randomizer.
Alright, Spy, second chest in here.
Well, 13's the piece of heart. 14. Oh, look at that! 14, our big key this evening. And 15 is the blue cane.
Burn the witch. I mean, Spyweaver, congratulations on guessing correctly.
So what was that?
Minutes. You get 15 minutes at the burning stake for your troubles. Congratulations.
Well, that was the mirror on ledge, the seed just toppling after we find the mirror, the big key. Man.
I don't know, you might want to hold it there. Chad is saying that we can't count. Yep, we forgot about the torch.
Oh, that's right. You messed me up. I had it tallied and I was looking at it. You made me think it was going to be the second check. I'm blaming that on you.
Wait a minute. You said that our fire snake room was going to be 11. That's you, Home Slice. Either way, that shows why we're calming and not math professors.
I guess we'll go with that. Furaime making their way to the back of Thieves Town, short few moments away from grabbing themselves the fire rod.
Yeah, and that's not a good place to find it. If you last location the fire rod in mire in this case, or in swamp at some point, that's not terrible, but last locationing it here when you know that your opponent could very well have done this relatively early, it feels bad.
That is definitely true. All right, Furaime, one more check away from picking up their fire rod. Meanwhile, Relkin is just about at the end of their climb up the tower this evening.
Yeah, this is definitely a situation where Rando has shown its teeth. One runner gets a relatively decent route here and is going to end with a really respectable time. We're probably looking at about a 135-ish, barring a tempered sword here, which would make it a lot more cleanly, like a 135-ish. And Furaime, if they chose to play this through, would probably be leaning towards 150 or 155. Just a situation where there's something hiding in the back, and you guessed everywhere else first.
And there we go, 128, grabbing that fire rod. We now have Furaime in go mode. Relkin dropping into Moldorm 2. We got 3 spins. And one more chance for a sword sitting over here for Relkin. Oh my lord! Oh!
Alright, so, Ganon just got quite a bit easier. Normally how this works with the Master Sword is that you have to spin to damage Ganon, but since Relkin was saved by some last-minute bacon, good old slashes will do.
I mean, you missed the perfect opportunity to say that just saved his bacon there. Come on, man. Come on.
But it didn't save his bacon. The bacon was the savior.
Semantics.
Oh. Furaime got some handticks there.
Got lifted off into the oblivion. Have to restart the dungeon, at least the back portion. Relkin, 3, 2, 1. And we go. We are just a drop down away from the big pig.
Yep, thankfully Furaime had half magic there, which meant that that magic was no concern. Yeah, we were getting synchronized drop downs in here.
One into Ganon, the other into Mothula. One where you want to be right now, the other one just a little bit farther behind. Relkin into Ganon. 12 slashes per phase, 4 slashes in phase 3, and then 4 silver arrow hits. Using the hookshot for some invincibility frame. Should be seeing a 1 and 1 here, if my count is correct. And hey, I can at least count that one right there. I can count right there.
The first 12 aren't difficult, it's the ones after that that we struggle with.
This is true. Meanwhile, there's a Skullwoods completion for Furaime. Heading up the mountain, making their way to Turtle Rock. And Relkin moving on to phase 4 here. Ganon noticing that we do in fact have the silver arrows as one true weakness. Getting the first quick hit on in. Just missing the torch glitch. Not going to be too much of a concern though. Today we have half magic. We have those silvers. We're not too worried. There's a double. One more hit for Relkin. And that is the final arrow. Get your GGs in chat, ladies and gentlemen. A 1x3 bridge. All that is separating Relkin from taking the victory in this game 4 and keeping this team I Lick Big Boots in this, setting us up for a final game 7. There it is, coming across, finishing in first place. Official SRL time, 1 hour, 32 minutes, and 1 second.
Whew, that was a seed. I don't know that I'd call it a cool seed, but it was definitely a seed.
You could almost say it was giving us a little bit of a foreshadowing there that was going to be a very explosive seed right from the start.
I'm sorry, guys. I really tried to show him the way of the proper pun, and he just doesn't listen. I'll keep working on it. We'll get back to you guys, and hopefully you guys can boo us for some really good bad puns as opposed to just plain old bad ones.
Oh, lordy. Anyways, with that standing, that does mean we are now 2-2. That sets up for a game 5, and speaking of which, we are joined here in the booth by today's winner, Relkin. GG's.
Oh, GG.
So that seed was fun, wasn't it?
Yeah, I heard Furaime literally last located his fire rod.
Yeah, it was not fun. It's not fun to watch at all, unfortunately. We were slightly concerned about the ice rod, but then that just kind of showed up in the middle of Ice Palace, so your advantage of going ahead and grabbing that fire rod really early ended up helping you out quite a bit there.
Yep, I was really thankful for that early ice rod.
So, how about that mirror hunt? That's not an item we're usually explicitly looking for.
Yeah, that felt pretty bad to nearly last locate, it felt like. I even went into ice to do like a quick icebreaker. I wasn't really going to commit to the whole Ice Palace play. And so that's like, well, I guess I just got to go across the river, huh? So I did, and there was the mirror, like, dang it.
Short hop, skip, and jump away from where you were. Also kind of brings up the question, you know, what was kind of your thinking going back into ice then there before heading over to pod once you did pick up the mirror and the hammer?
Well, full clearing pod would have been a much bigger time sink than just finishing up Ice Palace, since I knew there were only 2 items left in ice, and they could have been as well, you know, along the way to Cold Stare, and sure enough, Ice Rod showed up, so I was happy with that. And see, like, the big key in pod was, you know, on the right side, so I got to skip all the back.
Yep, that was another instance of where it just worked out perfectly to your advantage. You had the one small key needed, the big key literally just sitting there, right there waiting for you, like, hey, take me, let's go.
Yeah, you were a little bit behind in the mirror/hammer pickup, but once those got done, you pretty much hit everything else that you needed exactly the way you needed to do, just being able to just fly through the sea. So it worked out.
Oh, I see Furaime has another sword. Where was the other sword that I missed?
Why don't you try the cutscene chest in Meyer?
Oh, you see, I went in there without a fire source, so
Yeah, so did he.
he went back in, huh?
When we said last location, the fire rod, we did in fact mean last location.
I see.
All the mirror spots are checked. Only thing that he didn't do is go into Turtle Rock for the potential of an early fire rod, but everything else has been cleared.
Gotcha.
It's one of those situations where Rando kind of just reared its ugly head. You know, that the tempered sword showing up in the first firelock chest, and I guess almost somewhat kind of, or at least I found it kind of amusing, the cutscene chest holding onto that single arrow tonight.
Wait.
Oh yeah, that's right. Sorry. The bacon blade was the first firelock chest.
Oh, okay. I see. The other firelock, yeah.
I've been having difficulty counting today, obviously.
Yes, you have.
Well, I was really nervous coming in tonight because I knew this is, you know, elimination for us if I didn't win. So this is very much a relief. Get to, you know, push them one more time, you know, to one more game perhaps.
Setting it up for game number 5. Between your team, I like Big Boots, and kind of Rando retired here. Is there any insight you can give us to what we might be seeing coming up for Game 5 here?
I can almost assure you that Zero Rush will be vetoing Swordless this time around. He was telling me that he was not a fan of all the Swordless shenanigans trying to run around the world. Probably going to be seeing the similar mode, inverted, all dungeons, key sanity of some sort.
So, actually, it is, in fact, sitting on our schedule, just put up. The race is going to be tomorrow at 9:10 p.m. Eastern, so almost 24 hours from this game. Not quite, though. It is Kyong versus Zero Rush, and the game mode is all dungeons, key sanity, inverted, vanilla swords. So that'll be fun.
Oh, okay, okay. Gotcha. So swordless until you hit the light world. Got it.
Yeah, pretty much. That's going to be interesting, actually, because, ooh, inverted... Yeah, okay, that's not a combination I want to do with. That's one of those ones that just gets worse the more you think about it.
Yeah, there's no good way to think about that one, I feel. It'll be interesting nonetheless.
Yeah.
Yeah, Furaime is headed into GT, though, so we are probably going to get a very similar route to what you did, Relkin, here. I imagine he's going to grab the key here in the Hope Room, and then just keep right on heading to the right side.
While we're watching Furaime kind of go through that, we might have to end up cutting here a little short since we do have something else coming up at the top of the hour. That being said, do you have any other kind of final thoughts here on the seed or the rest of the playoffs coming up here for us at all, Relkin?
Yep. Any of these matches can go either way, really. That's how pretty much the entirety of this series went, felt like. So, yep, good stuff. It'll come down to this tomorrow. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I am as well. It's gonna be that race is gonna be a blast to watch. I'm just glad I'm not playing it. But yeah, that's why they're doing it. So meanwhile, go ahead and give our runners a follow. They both flew through this seed. Furaime just managed to check everything else along the way. Kind of guessed incorrectly on the fire rod there. Go ahead and give both of our runners a follow. They are amazing at this game and deserve all the love you can give them.
Yep, and as I was kind of alluding to a little bit earlier, we're more than likely going to have to end up cutting that here at this point. We do have something else coming up at the top of the hour on this very channel. So like we were saying, that is another notch in there for I Like Big Boots, evening this series up 2-2. The next match scheduled for tomorrow evening at 9:10 p.m. As we were saying, it looks to be all dungeons, key sanity, inverted, vanilla swords. Definitely won't want to miss that one. The winner moves on. The loser's tournament life is ended. Anything you have left to add to that this evening, Hammer?
No, that's about it. I think you did a pretty good job covering everything. If you guys want to stick around for some Final Fantasy Randomizer, that is what's going to be playing. That spring tournament is what's going to be playing next on here. So stay tuned and definitely come back tomorrow for the rubber match.
All that in mind, be sure to give both of our runners, Relkin and Furaime, a follow. They put on quite the show for you tonight. Rando just happened to rear its ugly head for one of her runners. The other one seemed to sniff it out from the get-go. And also a huge shout out to Sokol doing all the work behind the scenes, tracking for us this evening, making our job quite easy. With that in mind, we're going to bump out, give the next crew enough time to set up. On behalf of all of us here at Speed Gaming, I'm Spy Weaver. That beside me was Hammer Bro. Have a good night, and we'll see y'all next time.